definitely. So we come up to what is probably the biggest space battle scene we've had on B5 at this point. JMS mentioned on the Lurker's Guide that the amount of EFX shots they had to do was ridiculous undertaking. I think they had to push like production to shift things around to the special effects teams could actually do it. Both your thoughts on the battle scenes in general. We'll get to the little kind of character moments, but in general, your thoughts on these battle scenes. Let's go with Baz first.
They look beautiful. They are made, and actually, there's a lot of kind of talk about how B5 was dating their special effects, and maybe the early ones did. And there are some stuff. Every time they go to Mars, it looks a bit weird, but this is great. This, I mean, I know I'm watching on my shiny Blu-ray as well,
So
but
beautiful.
oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But it does. It looks amazing. And I think that everything about it, I mean, yeah, we've got all the character stuff as well on that. And having a lot of it out there it really helps. And cutting to Major Ryan, who established enough of a character, and Sheridan and CNC. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it looks fantastic. Moments like Star Fury's flying alongside B5,
Mm.
the music in the firefighting Brown sector, the Churchill rowing to the enemy ship. I put music, music, music again. It's relentless and it's exciting, it's thrilling, but also it's the emotional stakes that really resonate. This is about saving B5 and for the war to come and fighting back against tyrannical regime who are have greater firepower and greater resources. So it is a desperate last stand, which makes it just even more intense.
Mm. Brandy, your thoughts
It,
on the space battles?
I love me a space battle.
Yeah.
And I love Star Furies. I love how maneuverable they are.
Mm.
Not that you
Yeah.
need to have a lot of maneuverability because space is a vacuum and just a little bit of an air thrust will change your trajectory. But it's still, she knows where her skill set truly lies and she uses it to her advantage. And the chaos that's going on around, because that many big ships coming in and then all of them launching Star Furies,
Mm.
that's insanity. How can you even
Mm.
tell who's an enemy and who's not? That
No,
I guess maybe transponder signals. I don't know,
it must
but
be. Must be.
it blows my mind, and the skill with which they choreographed these digital effects is magnificent even 30 years later.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
just so well done with so much attention to detail. And it's very realistic. Like when the Churchill they've got fires on all decks. They're not going to make it out. They can't get to life pods. So they're going to ram this other ship. Was it the Agamemnon?
Yeah,
I,
Gripper, I think it
the
The
was.
Agrippa.
Agrippa.
I
Yeah.
keep getting all of my Greek and heroes mixed up, Greek villains and heroes mixed up. So yeah, they can't do anything else, but they're gonna ram that that ship, and you see it. You don't see it even break apart, which is smart because physics. You see it just it's burning, and it just starts listing like a
Mm.
ship that's been hit by a torpedo in the water. Brilliant,
Mm.
magnificent, unexpected, realistic. I really love I mean I don't love watching people die, but I really love that particular scene because it's done so well and it's done
Yeah.
so accurately to what would really happen to a ship like that in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, JMS has always said that he wanted his ships, particularly Star Furies, to move, with the real physics of gravity and the vacuum of space. He wanted that reality, that kind of realistic movement of ships. And I'm sure Ronald D. Moore, when he did Battlestar Galactica, the remake, I'm sure he was probably inspired in some way to do that because he again I think him and JMS likened their bigger ships to submarines, and that's how they move, and that's how they gave the orders
Yeah.
to aft and port and all that kind of stuff. So it works really well. It always has. I mean, we worked with Star Trek. They based all the movements of the Enterprise in the '60s things on submarine movements and orders and stuff like that. So it works well. It works well in
Yeah.
space. I love the idea of the breaching pods. from a purely narrative standpoint, it gives Garibaldi and Franklin stuff to do because there's people
Wait, is
coming
Franklin
onto the.
there in the?
Well, he's in medbay receiving all the injured
Oh yeah, of course,
people.
yeah, yeah,
I think we just get a very he's in it the least out of all the command staff, but he's
yeah, yeah.
kind of there. But yeah, it gives Garibaldi stuff to do. And it just gives the conflict different kind of layers. You know, you've got
He
the big
does.
space battle, then you've got the kind of ground crew. Your thoughts on the breaching pod kind of scenes and the battles that are going on in Babylon 5, Baz?
Yeah, you said it's different levels, and I think you've got the spectacular space battle side, almost the exciting stuff for the audience, and you've got the explosions of CNC when they get hit as well. It's all very, very tense, but the kind of the emotional gut punch stuff is that scene again with the music when the Narns and the security are just charging towards and they're getting shot and picked off one by one. It's
Mm,
almost slow mo, almost cheesy, but it just works. And I think it just again, it's not just ships, starfields fighting starfields. It's human soldiers fighting human soldiers. Obviously, Narn's in there as well. Maybe that dilutes the message a little bit, but obviously, Narn's there to help B5. So I like that they're there as well. And yeah, it's just it adds an emotional intensity to the whole fight, and it just feels exhausting and brutal and
mm.
relentless again. And I think it just you know if Garibaldi and his forces fail, what are these soldiers, what these Groppos going to do when they start rampaging through B5? It's going to be catastrophic. So again, it's those kind of desperate odds taking place.
Yeah, and like these Narns, as you said, they're just running into gunfire and sacrificing themselves over and over again. And personal sacrifice is a massive theme in this episode, isn't it, Brandy? I mean,
Mm.
everybody loses something by the end of the episode, be it emotionally, mortally, physically, or spiritually. Everybody loses something by the end of this episode.
Yeah, and that's what war does. War
Mm,
is loss. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it's good for is loss. And the watching them use breaching pods and all of those soldiers coming out and just firing without caring who they're
Mm.
firing at is devastating.
mm,
It's absolutely devastating, and it shows you it just smacks you in the face with how far this has gone, how corrupt Clarke has become, and they might not make it out of this, but they're going to hold the line as long as they can, because if they don't, everybody's going to die, because you think they're going to just come in and take over the command crew? Right.
No.
That's not how this works. They're just going to shoot down anybody they think is a threat. And how are they deciding who's a threat? Just by looking at them. So,
Mm.
yeah, they had to hold the line, and they did hold the line. And it was good thing we actually saw Zach for once in this episode.
Yeah.
It's like, I
He
bet
likes
he's
have
really glad
he
he
has
took
like
off
five
that
second screen
night watch
time.
band. Yeah, it's like good on you for finally reading the room and getting out of night watch, buddy. Yeah, it's a very eye-opening scene,
Mm.
because this is stuff that has happened in war for centuries, and unfortunately history just keeps repeating itself, because when there's a fascist in charge, when evil is supporting that fascist, they just don't care who they hurt. They don't care who they
Mm.
kill. They just want to be on top.
Peace with a gun.
Exactly. Peace doesn't come from a gun ever.
Mm. Um, yeah, so we've got that battle going on. They do eventually destroy both those ships, and then almost immediately four more come through. And we're at the
Yeah.
lowest point that we get to, and then we get one of the greatest moments in Babylon 5's history with the arrival of Dylan Brandy.
Okay, this is where I'm gonna cry. The first time I watched this episode, of course, I had no idea what was going to happen, and yay, they won! And then the jump points are forming again, and just the way Corwin gets the just a little alert, and he looks down and he goes, "Oh no!" And then it's like, oh no, for the rest of us. And
Devastating.
yeah, and you thought there were a lot of ships before? Oh, there are a lot more now. And they are just going to destroy everything at this point. They don't care now about surrender. They're just going to destroy. That's what they're there for. And uh, just as the lead ship communicates with Babylon 5 and orders them to surrender and be boarded, then you have four more jump points opening. And you're like, no, not more. And then it's the and all these beautiful Minbari ships. And she is just like, fuck you. That is her whole mood right there. Fuck you guys. And just her speech, the only human to have ever survived combat with the Minbari is he is behind me. You are in front of me. If you value your lives, be somewhere else. And I don't think they give us enough context of just how big those not Centauri, excuse me, those Minbari cruise ships are. They dwarf Earth Force. They are so, so big. And just Delin riding in on her white star, or she might as well be a white horse, and just absolutely set in her convictions. And she is going to fuck people up if they even try to make a move. And it's just one of those things where I was just crying with relief.
Yeah.
Just like, because you don't know. I mean, things happen in Babylon 5, and you're just like, I'm not sure of anything now. I'm not sure anyone's safe. And just that moment is possibly the finest moment of Babylon 5 for me, because she would just never lost her conviction. She never lost her faith. She made this happen with her own hands, and she brought help to her friends, to people who she considers family. And just, oh man, it wrecks me emotionally every time. And I watched this episode yesterday again, like I said, but I always back it up and watch this scene with Lynn again, because it's just so good.
It's spine chilling.
And
Brilliant
just
stuff.
It is.
it is. It's one of those things where you just feel like you've left your body for a second. You're like, what? This is amazing. So yeah, it's one of those moments that is always going to make me cry tears of joy.
It is. It is that moment of utter relief, because you're right. Things across not just this season, really, across Babylon 5, things just get darker and 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 more tense, and there are moments of great humor across B5, but things that has been building and building and building, particularly after the last couple of episodes. This trilogy of episodes is so tense, and that moment when Captain Drake arrives and demands surrender, and you're like, you can't take any more because of it. And then Delenn comes in with her greatest ever moment on screen. It's just that moment of relief. It is utterly joyful. It is. It is. I think we've talked about in the past. We've talked about greatest moments, and I'm sure when we get to our season 3 round table, this will be up there. I'm sure multiple people will be calling this the best moment of season 3, because it is. It is truly amazing.
Yeah, it's we stand between the candle and the star. We stand between the light and the dark, and that's exactly what she does. She positions herself in between Babylon 5 and the Earth thing, and that's exactly what she's doing. And you're right, Brandon. She has moved heaven and earth to be there. She sacrificed so much. She sacrificed like the very kind of doctrine her people have lived with, with the Great Council and the three castes, destroyed it in order to be there for John Sheridan. And it's that personal sacrifice I talked about, that everybody loses something at the end of this episode. But she loses something, but she gains something as well, and keeps Babylon 5 and John Sheridan and everyone on there alive. She's almost like a Valkyrie flying in at the last minute, isn't she?
Totally.
Good metaphor. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.